I was not raised to be quiet. Like my parents made sure of that. I was raised to speak up, ask for what I want, demand what I want, even, and also to take up space. And that's one of the things in my life that I'm genuinely grateful for. Because as an adult, I've seen what happened to people who weren't raised that way. No shade. But here's the thing, even for me, someone who was raised to be outspoken, ask for what they want, I've sit in situations where I saw something, felt something, should have said something, but I chose silence instead. And it has cost me every single time. So this video isn't just for people who are naturally shy, it's for everyone, outspoken or shy, people who have kept quiet in situations where they should have spoken up and it cost them, either in relationships, their career, their dream, and they pay the price for it. Because life doesn't give you take. This isn't the movie. There's no director sitting somewhere yelling cut so that you can redo the scene. The opportunity closes, the moment passes, the person leaves, and you're sitting there holding everything you should have said and wondering what you're going to do with it. So let's talk about it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Marinike Abdurrafi, and this is my 20 series where we talk about self-love, self-development, and becoming the best version of yourself. And today we're talking about silence, things that silence would actually cost you in the long run. I want us to start from relationships because this is actually, I feel like this is where silence does the most damage. And a lot of people tend to not address it because it feels a little bit uncomfortable and it's actually quite personal. I know someone, and I'm not going to tell the story completely because honestly, it's not my story to tell. But I've watched someone close to me see a red flag. You know, those kind of red flags that made you pause and say, they saw it. And instead of saying something to the person or saying something to themselves or saying something to anyone, they kept quiet. They were like, oh, maybe I was being too sensitive. Or maybe I was just being too dramatic. Maybe, oh, they're just going through a phase. It's going to change. And I watched the person get married to this so-called person with the red flags. And within a year, the marriage collapsed. And I was wondering, this could have been avoided. Everything they saw earlier in the relationship and said nothing about eventually came to the surface. Because it always does. And one thing I want us to understand is that silence doesn't make things disappear. It actually just delays the inevitable and add a little bit of interest on it. And I'm not here to judge anyone, but staying quiet in relationships is one of the most human things that we do. Like, I don't want to come off as being uncomfortable. I don't want to come off as rude. I don't want to come off as being the problem, and we just stay quiet. And what I've learned from watching that whole thing unfold is that the conversation you're trying to avoid today ends up becoming a crisis that makes you leave tomorrow. So speak up early, even when your voice shakes. Like, ask the question, say the thing, just be vocal, because silence in relationship is not peace, it's just problem that hasn't exploded yet. Here's another damage that silence do: it keeps you broke and overlooked. This might sting a little bit, but I really need you to hear it. Some of you right now are underpaid and you know it. You're doing two people's work, you're getting paid for one, you're doing another person's hours and you're getting paid for, half of it. And instead of asking for what you deserve or for what you know that you deserve or for the work that you do, you stay quiet. And then you're wondering how somebody that isn't as qualified as you actually get, the role, the job, the position. Like, did you say something? The answer is almost always no. When you ask them, oh, did you ask to be considered for the role? Did you ask to be considered for the promotion? Did you ask to be considered for the job? The answer is almost always no. Because asking sometimes makes people feel like, oh, I don't want to seem ungrateful, I don't want to be seen as difficult. What if they say no? So what if they say no? What if they say no? That's information that you get to store and you get to know what to do about it or what to do with it. Here's the thing about how most workplaces actually work. Nobody is sitting somewhere waiting to reward your silence. They're not sitting in their office like, oh, I'm looking at this girl work so hard and then I'm going to reward her for her silence. You see, people that get the role, people that got the raise, people that got the opportunity, people that got the job, they mostly ask for it. So at least they make themselves visible enough to be considered for it. I don't know if it's hard enough. Most of them advocated for themselves out loud because they understood one fundamental thing, that nobody is coming to save you and nobody's coming to reward your silence either. You being modest or you being whatever is not going to save you. No one is watching you suffer and planning to reward you for it. You need to open your mouth. You need to ask for what you want. What does the scripture say now? A closed mouth is a closed destiny. I don't know if that's the scripture or is one of the books that we read, but yes, closed mouth is closed destiny. Please open your mouth and ask for what you want. The worst thing they can say is no. And no is an information. It tells you how to actually structure yourself and actually plan your next move. But you see, silence is going to keep you exactly where you are. Another part of being silent that actually kills me is being silent about your dreams or being silent about something that you actually want to pursue. I lost some years I would never get back, and I'm only in my 20s. So you can imagine. This one is personal, and I'm going to be honest about it because I actually think it matters. I stayed quiet about what I wanted to do for years, and it wasn't like I didn't have any idea of what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do, I had the ideas, I had the drive, I had the motivation, but I was waiting for the right time. Like I was waiting to be ready for it. And it cost me a lot. Take YouTube, for example. I'm going to take YouTube, for example. I started doing YouTube sometimes in 2019 or 2020 ish, actually. I started doing it in my room, in my one bedroom apartment when I was staying in Tanke. And it's just always something I wanted to do. And I was doing it back then. I did a couple of months and then I stopped. And then I started again in 2021. I started doing it, I think, also in my house. I did a couple of videos, I stopped. Then I started going to the studio in 2022. I made a couple of videos for like a couple of months, and honestly it was going well. But then what happened? I lost my motivation, I lost my drive, and then I stopped. And now I'm picking it back up again in 2026. So you can imagine how many years I had lost when I could have focused on this thing, I actually commit to it, but I didn't because I was waiting to feel ready. I was waiting to get the result I actually wanted in order for me to pursue it. And one thing about staying quiet about your dream is the fact that nobody's going to find you unless you position yourself in a place where you can actually be found. You get what I'm saying? Like you're not going to be ready until you actually do the thing. You're not going to be ready until you actually start putting yourself in that position to actually be ready. Confidence isn't something that you find while sitting or while waiting. You find it along the way while you do the thing. Do you understand? And I was quiet about it for so long. I talked about it too. I talked about it a lot. But did I actually put in the action? Did I put in the work? No, I didn't. And that cost me a lot. Now, take for example, now YouTube said their watch hour is going to be 4 hours in 2027. February actually 2027, and it used to be 2,000 watch hours. That means that if I actually do not get my YouTube to where I want it to be, I'm going to have to do 2 times work or 3 times more work to actually get to where I need to get to. And I could have avoided that if I had been vocal, or if I had actually do something about my dreams I was quite about for a couple of years ago. I had years to actually do it, but I didn't do it because why? I was scared. I was I don't even know. Honestly, when I think about it, now that I think back at it, I don't know exactly what I was scared of, but I wasn't getting the result I wanted. And I've come to now realize, now that I'm older, I've come to realize that the result you wanted is on the other side of the work you're avoiding, or the other side of your silence, actually. So you actually need to like speak up, position yourself, put yourself in places that people could see you, put yourself in places where your drive or your goal can actually come and meet you, not like sitting somewhere and waiting for everything to work out on its own, or for you to be confident, or for you to actually have, oh, that thing you're looking for, that thing you wanted. Like it is just not going to work like that. Over time I'm like, oh, you know what, yeah, I'm actually doing this, and I've put in the work. I've been putting in the work. I think that's the word I should say. Am I still struggling with my YouTube? Absolutely. But I've been putting my face on the internet and talking about the things that I actually want to talk about, and actually being consistent with it has been high opening, and I've never actually felt better talking about the things I wanted to talk about, even if no one watches it. But I'm going to put myself here and actually talk about it and actually build something, putting my face on the internet every now and then. Like it's been amazing, actually building what I want, the life that I see for myself. And silence would have cost me all of that if I had stayed quiet forever, because nobody, trust me, nobody is coming to push you to do it. Nobody is coming to push you to actually speak about what you actually want unless you do it yourself. Do you get it? So silence will actually keep you small. Silence will keep you exactly where you are. Silence will keep you stuck, and it'll keep you small. And then you, at some point you're like, oh, what was even my dreams again? You completely forgot about it. And one thing I know now that I wish I knew then was that your dream is not going to get easier to start the longer you wait. Every year you don't start, it gets heavier. It gets it gets more work. It puts more space between you and the life you think you wanted, or the life you know that you could live, at the person you know that you could be. Every single year you actually wait to start will put another block in between, and then it creates more distance between you and the dream or the goal, whatever it is for you. And you just have to start. You just have to do it. You just have to be vocal. You just have to speak up about it. Life doesn't actually give you, you take. You don't get to go back and start when you're 19, but another good time to start is right now. Right now, where you are, with what you want, with what you already know, you can start right here, because right now is the youngest you'll ever be again. So do the work, put in the work, and the result is on the other side of that work. And look, I know some of you are sitting there like, okay, genius, now that you've told us what silence will cost me, how exactly do I speak up when it doesn't naturally come to me? And in my next video, this is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of how to actually demand what you want and what you need to do step by step. Not the BS, not read this book or read that book. No, we're not doing that. We're doing it together, actually speaking up and demanding what we want from life and taking what we want from life. So you don't want to miss this one. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm going to be posting videos like this every week. I'm actually committing to doing it every week now. So I'll see you guys there and you're welcome. Bye.